I want to start this section on rebasing by telling you a little bit about my own personal history with rebasing. It's a command, git rebase is the command, that there's a bit of a divide over in the Git community. Some people use this command all the time. Some companies ask that their developers use rebase all the time. Others avoid it like the plague. And when I first started, when I first learned Git, I was actually told by the person I was learning from to try to avoid rebasing ever. Don't worry about it. It can really screw things up for you and for other people on your team. It's not for beginners. And some of that is true for sure. But it was kind of, a scary command for me. And I avoided it for quite a long time, for many years. And I got by just fine with Git. I didn't really run into many issues. Maybe there was once or twice I had to use it, but I would just Google, what I needed to do and find something on Stack Overflow. It just wasn't something I needed to do frequently. Anyway, one day I was teaching a boot camp a couple years ago, and a student asked me about rebase in front of the rest of the class, and I was not all that prepared to give him a good response. So I went home, did more research, came back, gave a lecture the next day. Anyway, doesn't really matter, but long story short, I use rebase all the time now. It can be very useful, but you have to know when not to use it. There's a golden rule of rebasing, and we will focus on that in this section. So there's a divide within the community because rebasing is an alternative to merging. There's two different things really that people do with rebasing. And the first one is you can use git rebase instead of git merge. So some people like to do that, and they'll use git rebase, or some companies will ask their developers to use git rebase instead of merging, but other people get by just fine with git merge and they avoid git rebase. So there's two big workflows for combining branches. One is rebasing and one is merging. So we'll talk about that starting in the next video. And then the second use case for rebase is to clean up your own commits, clean up your Git history. And we'll talk about that too towards the end. All right, so you can get by with just merging things as we have been doing. Rebase is not, in my opinion, one of the essential commands that you just have to know. As I said, I used Git for quite a while without really rebasing all that much, but it's definitely worth knowing about. And these days, I think it's gaining in popularity, or at least equal to the Git merge crowd. Okay, so let's begin.